Hello everyone and welcome back to Age of Mythology Divine Edition. Today we are going to be taking a look at perhaps the most complicated Eldritch God, which is saying something, Shub-Niggurath. Shub-Niggurath's main bonuses are that herd animals move faster, fatten faster, and have more line of sight. All villagers have higher pierce armor, and that includes cultists as well. Farms produce food faster, and tainted town centers provide more population. On the surface, this may not seem particularly complicated, but the complexity shows up the minute their cultists and technologies do. The cultist of Shub-Niggurath is unique in that it can gather from herdables. It can also gather from it cannot gather from huntables. But when it gathers from herdables, it does so without killing the unit. So in this case, with cheats, the pig fattens instantly to the Shub-Niggurath max of 450 food, and the pig is still alive. This allows you to, if you say have goats or cows or pigs, and you are worshipping Shub-Niggurath so they fatten faster, and you get husbandry so they fatten even faster, you can take some cultists of Shub-Niggurath, put them on your herdables, and have a limitless supply of herdable food. So especially in the early game, you get 2 of these for free, and you can start training more of them from your temples. And sure, they are worse at gathering than normal villagers, but this is still free gathering, essentially. This is still a worse second town center in the Archaic Age that gives you worse villages. They can only do one thing, but that can still be used for build orders. Advancing to the next age, and building a library. Shub-Niggurath's main technology is the Darkwood Ritual. This allows you to gain a Blessed Child, which is tailor-made for cultists of Shub-Niggurath because it regenerates its food basically instantly. It's the same, of course, with the cheats on, but it regenerates very quickly. And if you try to have a normal unit use it, it rots almost instantly. So they're only useful alive and being worked on by cultists of Shub-Niggurath. The voices of Shub-Niggurath not only act as food repositories, so if we bring this villager and his pig over here, you can see that he deposits the food with the voice, and the voice can train more blessed children. As they give essentially infinite food, if used well, they are quite expensive, but you can use this to supplement your economy quite nicely. They do take 1 population though, so in general, when you get to your population cap later in the game, you're going to want to start to actually kill your blessed children and eat them normally, and turn your villagers into their special form, the form of the Dark Young. This can attack. It does take 1 population, but its main use is the fact that when you kill it, its 400 food never decays, making it useful for ordinary villagers. This can be quite handy when you have run out, when the cultists of Shub-Niggurath have outlived their usefulness, and so you'll turn them into herdables and kill them and eat them. This gives a very dog-eat-dog sort of style to Shub-Niggurath, where you use your cultists of Shub-Niggurath to gain an early economic advantage, and as soon as the population becomes annoying, you turn them into herdables and then eat them too. Waste not, want not at all. The god power of Shub-Niggurath is also very good for economic bonuses. Essentially, it gives you a free resource repository that stores all resources, so you can save 50 wood on each. In addition, it can train blackbirds, which are similar to minions, for 1 favor. They don't last an incredibly long time, and voices can train them too. But this can actually be quite good if you build one by enemies, and then proceed to get a bunch of favor and start spamming them out. Balls are also the cheapest to invoke. It only costs 2 favor to save essentially 50 wood. And since most cultists will give 5 favor when you sacrifice them, this essentially means you can pay 50 food and train the cultist, sacrifice the cultist, buy 2 invokers of more and have 1 favor left over, and that saves 100 wood. You can do a lot of Shub-Niggurath abuse, where you very carefully contour your resources in order to give yourself an ideal build. Build. And this becomes only more pronounced when we start to deal with their tainted town center technology. How much of it is gained. I'm also going to rank up to the Mythic Age. The unique technology of Shub-Niggurath allows the Occultists of Shub-Niggurath to plant loyal trees. Where are they? No, that's Dagon. I know you're... Oh, I transformed them into herdables. Maybe I shouldn't have done that so early. Anyways, a loyal tree costs 50 food and 4 favor, and can generally sustain 1 townsfolk with carpenters researched, and essentially you just build them. You build your own trees. So if I task a townsfolk here, they gain wood, and they gain wood to a very high cap, so if you leave them alone they can get a whole bunch of it. They cannot be used by enemies, but they can be destroyed by enemies. And you can do stuff like planting a bunch of them around your town center. You're trapped. We'll go in here. And then you can put 1 townsfolk. With carpenters, they basically are equal at this distance. And anyways, boom, you have a safe wood line for the entire remainder of the game. Now, of course, you have to pay to get the setup, but they're basically like farms in a way, in that you generally want 1 villager to be on them at any one given time, otherwise you can chop down more wood than the tree itself can yield. Though, unlike farms, they do block movement, and so it's more common for enemies to destroy them. They also only have 5 crush armor, so they, can be taken down pretty easily by siege. The Mythic Age ritual of Shub-Niggurath is the lunar calendar that allows the Occultists to construct rituals of the new moon. What this does is it creates a whole bunch of trees in the area that obscure enemy movement, and a whole bunch of blackbirds spawn that are much longer lived and much stronger. And they respond poorly to movement, shall we say. So if you stay very still, most of them won't attack you, but the moment you start moving around is the moment that they will start being aggressive. And also, as you can see, with 20 attack, they are much stronger than the blackbirds with 9 attacks. So 120, 78, the armor's way better, they do more damage, everything. And they last for a while, and then it all vanishes. It is worth noting that ironwood trees have a unique property in that their placement is actually fairly small. So their obstruction radius is small, meaning that a unit the size of a villager can walk between them, while a larger unit cannot. So you can trap larger units like titans and such with this ritual, while also spawning a bunch of units that can decimate an enemy base. As you can see, we lost quite a few. And it just sort of obstructs enemy movement, creates units that attack them, everything you would want. In my opinion, it is the weakest of the Mythic Age rituals, as it is easier to run away from it than it is to run away from, say, the Ritual of the Void that sucks units in. But it is still quite potent. And in the late game, Shub-Niggurath really takes off because you can start to spawn endless night trees, and if you don't want to use the farming bonus, you can train endless hordes of cultists of Shub-Niggurath, transform them into forms of the Dark Young for wood, and then proceed to eat them. So essentially, since night trees cost 50 food and 4 favor, you can spend that to gain practically unlimited wood. And since Form of the Dark Young costs 75 wood and 5 favor, you can spend that to get 400 food. This means that, aside from gold, since the resources that you are spending are not as much as the resources you are getting back with time, you can legitimately have an entire economy that stays only in your base with Shub-Niggurath and never leaves. All you need is gold. So if you have a trade route somewhere, or you have villages over here on gold, you can have all of your food and all of your wood in your base, at all times completely safe. And that is the primary strength of Shub-Niggurath, even though it does not have any offensive or even scouting god powers, making it a very defensive-oriented civilization. And given how powerfully Eldritch perform in the Mythic Age, due to the fact that they do not lose their god powers, unless if they go through Nyarlathotep, that can be a strong thing indeed. Anyways, that's all.